in here. Okay. Hey, it's Lawrence King with the Alliance Group, coach here of Sphere of Influence. I'm going over today some of the things that we could possibly take advantage of in going into this new buyer's brokerage agreement model, and some ideas that you guys can use in your business and implement hopefully right away. So what I want to kind of cover is, one, if you look online or look anywhere, most webinars or seminars for buyers right now, not really sellers, but buyers, they're first-time home buyer programs out there. There's first-time home buyers, just webinars in general to know the step-by-step process on where to get started. But there's not many first-time seller webinars or seminars out there for sellers, and knowing how to operate through this new buyer's brokerage agreement and what to look for, or how to speak to their listing agent on what they're going to possibly need to face or possibly face when the buyers come unrepresented, right? And how to navigate through that. So today's sphere of influence is basically going over some of the ideas that you can reach out to your sphere, or potential sellers that may not be in your sphere yet, but reach out to them to invite them, create a event, a local event in your area, become that specific person in your farm area that hosts these events, not just for first-time home buyers, but first-time sellers or sellers that are experienced but never went through this type of situation with the buyer's brokerage agreement, and possibly having their listing agent represent both sides and having to sign an agreement on both sides, especially when the seller doesn't want to pay a commission to the buyer's agent. This is a great opportunity to kind of inform them, invite them, inform them, and then guess what? You got a ton of sellers in one room, and you as the experienced listing agent are there to meet with all these sellers, right? So this is a good idea. So let me show you really quick on my screen. Kristen, good morning. I want to show you guys, and Kristen, I kind of went over a little bit in the beginning about how we may not have a lot of people here because we got a ton of stuff going on throughout our group alone, but I'm just going to give a couple insights on what I've looked at on Eventbrite, some of the things that I've seen that are not really popping up in the area that I focus in on, which is Culver City. The most, when I search in home sellers, I see home seller seminars, but they're not in a direct area of Culver City, even though I searched for that area. So chances are, in your particular farm areas, there's not going to be that many events like this. All right. This is Simi Valley. This was Glendale. You see, this thing is all over the place. Whittier. There's nothing directly in my area. So these are home buyer seminars, right? This is not even all of seller seminars. So I only see really two. So be different than the average crowd is currently. And if you go here, and I'm just using Culver City, you can look up events just for homeowner. That's one word, but anyways, as you can see right here, California business owners, free home buyer seminar. There's a ton of this stuff all over the place, right? For home buyers, there's not a lot for sellers. So the reason why I'm speaking about this is because this new buyer brokerage agreement thing, a lot of these sellers they have no idea of what this lawsuit that happened. They just know, hey, I don't have to pay a commission to the buyer side, which they never had to in the first place. But now they're going to realize more that they have to sign this buyer's brokerage agreement, or their listing agent will have to sign this buyer's brokerage agreement with the buyer and have an agreement with the buyer that's separate from the seller if the seller is not willing to offer any compensation for the listing agent. Now, for your sellers, the idea that I also thought about today was your sellers need to move somewhere, right? If they haven't moved already, they need to move somewhere, right? So your sellers are sometimes nervous about selling, right? And how to pull them off the fence and get them to list their property is going to be difficult in a market that the interest rates are so high. So not only can you offer this to your buyers, but you can also offer this to your sellers by teaming up with a professional lender that may understand this concept of offering a 1-0 buy down. And what a 1-0 buy down is, basically it's a loan officer that's going to offer a 1% interest rate buy down for the first year of them purchasing their home. All right. Not a lot of lenders are going to offer this. They're not even going to bring it up because this is costing them money, right? However, if they want to get your business and repeat business later on in the future, sphere, building up their sphere and bringing more people into their sphere, this is what they should offer. And this is how you should actually talk to your lender about, hey, what's a 1-0 buy down, right? Now, chances are, if your lender is able to do that and offer it to your client, you're going to look like the superhero, one, as an agent. But two, now you can then tell your lender, hey, I know it's going to suck on the front end of giving them this 1% out of your commission, possibly if it's not going to be backed by the bank. But just know that I'm going to advocate for you in the future that, hey, remember, Joe Blow, the lender to my client, hey, he got you that 1-0 buy down. I know it's coming up for that next year for that 1% to go away and it's going to go up 1%. Most likely during that time, interest rates are hopefully going to come down, right? So right as their 1% is going to end, interest rates should be down a little bit further, hopefully, than that. And then you can reach back out to your sphere and say, hey, I know your 1% buy down from the lender, Joe Blow, is about to go away. Have you thought about refining your property? Have you thought about doing a HELOC on your property? Have you thought about doing any of these things, but mainly more of a refi to see where the interest rates are now? That's a good reason for you to reach out to your sphere a year, or actually less than a year, 7 to 8 months from when that 1% is going to change, to give them the update on the market and interest rates. And maybe you team up with your lender that helped them out in the beginning to call them and schedule a call with them to say, hey, let's look at your mortgage right now. Let's do a mortgage evaluation on your property right now. And this is a good opportunity for your lender to give you little tidbits and pieces of what's going on in the current interest rates and what they can do now, because it might be different things that they offer now than they offered, almost a year ago. So now this is a good way for you to reach out to your sphere, that past buyer that may become a seller, or may want to say, hey, thank you, Joe Blow, for the 1%. Yes, I do want to refi, but I also was thinking about, buying a secondary home, or buying an investment home, or you know what, Lawrence, we've actually, I appreciated Joe Blow, but we actually want to buy a new home and sell this home, right? So this is a good way to reach out to your sphere to offer them some options after you first offered almost a year ago. And now you're coming back to them to offer them this, a new deal that's out there. Then this is a good way to reach out to your sphere. That I feel that you should do is basically create these events in your local area to have these discussions with sellers to go over the buyer's brokerage agreement. But not only that, you're in a room full of sellers that you can now say, hey, have you heard about these options? And possibly have a lender there to get referral business for as well, right? And then have that lender possibly, sponsor your event. This is a great way to start for your sphere of influence and getting people in your area, in your farm area, to get to know you more, right? Now, let's say they're not sellers. Maybe some of these people are buyers, right? Maybe they haven't bought a property yet. This is a great opportunity to have that lender talk about the 1-0 buy down for the buyers that may be nervous about buying right now in this market. This is another great option. Now, there's a ton of different options for first-time home buyers, but what I want you guys look at is possibly offering something different than what's on Eventbrite. That's everything first-time home buyer. Do the opposite. Do first-time home seller, right? What are some of the things that you need to do to get prepared to sell your home in this market? Have you found a replacement property, right? What things to expect in finding a replacement property? What's the timeline looks like? Are you going to do a 1031 exchange? These are different topics you can talk about at those certain events that's in your area. But now you're going to look like the experienced agent in your farm area that's offering these different ideas for potential sellers and potential buyers in that market. So that's what I wanted to discuss today. I just went over some of the things that you can look for on Eventbrite in your city to see if there's any events in that area. If not, you're going to stand out amongst the crowd, right? Then what you also can do is, now this is my farm area. let me invite some of the people in my sphere. Let me send out the flyer or text message with the flyer to my people in my sphere that purchased from me in the past. Now they can show up as potential sellers. And if they do show up, they know you already. So you already built that rapport with them. Now they're showing up for a reason, right? It gives them good reason to show up to your event, not just because they know you and you sold them a property maybe last year, 2 years ago. Now they're showing up and maybe wanting to talk to you now and say, hey, I think it's time for me to sell. Hey, I need to refi my property and do something else, but it gives you different ideas to go into. So that's it for today. My name is Lawrence King. I'm a coach for Sphere of Influence. I do this every Thursday, 11 a.m. It's normally about 15 to 30 minutes that I stay on here. But, if I get anybody that has questions on here or ideas, this is basically what we come here to discuss. Kristen, you have anything at all that you want to talk about? I know you had some stuff we were talking about in the previous training with Joseph. Anything else that you may have?
No, not really. I did look on Eventbrite for my area and there's zero. Nothing. So you got my wheels turning here. And yeah, I guess I'll just need to figure out how to set it up, create a agenda or
Ha- have you
categorize, figure out
have
how
you
to
teamed up with any like lenders in your area, local lenders?
yes.
Okay,
Yes, I do. Under.
so you've teamed up with local lenders. Most of those lenders will sponsor your event.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to find a location that's large enough to fit, let's say, 20 people, right?
Yeah.
Because you if you looked in your area for sellers or home sellers events, it's probably not going to be much, and it's your first couple of events may not show out. You may not have a lot of people to show out, right? So that's why I said kind of include buyers too in
Right.
that script. Somewhat use Chat GPT to come up with like a headline that's going to
Mm-hmm.
pretty much say for sellers and buyers or something like that. But learning about this new market that's coming up with the buyer's brokers agreement is going to be huge for sellers because they have no idea.
Well, like you said, I mean, a lot of sellers are also buying. So,
Yes.
and I have a lot of, sets of clients that I have helped and are helping currently that are in that predicament right now, where they're like, we need to sell, but we don't want to sell too soon because we don't know if the home we want is going to show up while we're in escrow, so they're kind of waiting to buy on a contingency of selling their property, which is much harder than selling with the contingency of finding their replacement home,
Property,
in
yeah.
terms of like getting offers or whatever. Um, so yeah, it's tricky. It's really tricky. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of consumers out there would appreciate
Uh-huh.
some guidance in how to go about that and what some of the risks are and the risk mitigation
Right.
um, might be. So yeah.
And another thing too is like when you showing up to when you create a flyer for this, giving tips and like quick little tips and tricks of what they're going to learn in that event, that gives them
Mm-hmm.
an idea. Oh, I need to show up because I'm thinking about selling. I need to find out about this new lawsuit thing that just happened that I have no idea on, or I
Right.
Googled and I thought I knew, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
give more information on the flyer where it's gonna, especially like the Eventbrite flyer, that they can kind of get info from a little bit, so it makes them want to show up.
Mm-hmm.
That's great too. But then at the same time, like I said, your lender would appreciate it too because now he has a room full of buyers possibly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or sellers that may want to refi their property,
Right.
right? So you give them an opportunity to talk with you as well, but you
Mm-hmm.
have an agenda. You create an agenda for that particular meeting, and try to do this like every quarter.
Right. I'm thinking also, stagers and photographers might have a place in this, in this 1 hour whatever meeting, just as a way to, how inform sellers how how much those things help to have like professional photos, to have staging if necessary, or help with decluttering and stuff like that. And I could spit out a whole bunch of stats about how their proceeds will increase if they have all of that stuff set up. But it might also be helpful to hear from the people that are doing those
Yeah.
things.
And then, Kristen, also think about this. Think about this. We got 4 quarters in a year, right?
Mhm.
You do this every quarter. You have a lender 1 quarter, you have a stager 1 quarter, you have a home inspector 1 quarter, and then you have a title rep 1 quarter. You got 4 people to
Right.
sponsor your events.
Mm-hmm.
They all going to give some information on selling their home, what things they need to look for. Hey, how much, or let's say title and escrow in 1 quarter. Hey, how much?
I'm thinking insurance, homeowner insurance as well.
Now you're going on to the
That's more
next year.
critical for buyers,
Yeah.
but it's like both,
Well, it's
the
big because
seller
you
that's
know
going to
what
be
you
a
just
buyer.
reminded me. I got a buyer right now that needs to get homeowners insurance from a different company because his insurance company doesn't offer it, right?
Right.
And we're in California. Not saying this is going to be in every state, but in California, a lot of the major insurance companies are gone for home
Yeah.
insurance, right? So what's now you got to talk to your sellers like, hey, let's think
Yeah.
about this. And that's another event. Now you go
I
into the
just had
next
a
year.
I just had a great conversation with a local homeowner insurance broker. Really eye-opening, really informative. One of those people I want to bring on to one of our masterminds, because I feel like it really opened my eyes as to the process of getting homeowners insurance, especially in states like California or Florida or other states where insurance companies are just like on a mass exodus.
Exactly.
And just being able to prepare uh, buyers and homeowners that have homeowners insurances that are getting canceled, like what is it that is really important to look for in your home, whether you're buying or whether you occupy already,
Hmm.
to maintain to acquire and maintain homeowners insurance. I
Right.
think it's really critical right now.
Now, let me ask you this question. How many homeowners do you think know everything that's on their home insurance?
None.
So guess
maybe
what?
maybe 1%.
Guess what? I was guilty of that back in the day. I was guilty of not knowing what to look for in my home insurance, what things I wanted it covered, how much deductible I want to have. I just had a water leak in one of my rental properties, had to gut the whole inside of the bathroom, right? And I had no idea what was going to be covered, all that good stuff before. Now I know exactly what to look for. And it's certain things you got to say to insurance companies that they get a little bit nervous and don't want to really take the claim, right? They want to kind of avoid the claim if it's certain things and verbiage wise that you use for them to get out of that having to pay for that claim. So there's some tricks to that too. So teaching and educating the client, the people in your sphere, those people will show up to stuff like that,
Mhm.
right? Right now, Kristen, this is a great time to reach out to your sphere that just purchased a home. Have you looked at your home insurance policy? No, or do you know everything that's covered? No, not really. Oh, great. I have an event coming up in 2 weeks. I would love for you to come and meet my insurance broker that's going to go over some of those things as a quick meeting. We're going to serve at lunch or whatever. Or you can have it on a Zoom. You don't have to have it necessarily in person. It's more effective in person because now you can sit there and talk to each individual one after the event, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just one thing, one particular training or event that you can have for sellers or people that own property, buyers that own property, but sellers need to know this stuff too. And what I
Yeah.
see a lot of when we looked at on Eventbrite today, it's a lot of things for first-time home buyers or home buyers. It's not much
Yeah.
for sellers, right?
Yeah.
So let's go against the grain. Let's go the other way. Everybody goes that way. We go this way, right? So that was some of
Love
the
it.
things my wheels were spinning for that for today. Next week I got a little bit of we're going back kind of with our title rep. I'm gonna go back and discuss kind of what I discussed last week regarding title reps and how to build that rapport with title reps. Like right now, my title rep sends me a list of most likely to sell homeowners in my particular farm area, right? I get that every month,
Mhm.
right? So that's an easy reach out for me in my sphere that, hey, uh uh Doug, I know you've been looking in 90230. I get a list of most likely to sell in that area that's off market, not on the market. Are you willing to look at that list? Right? Yeah, sure, Lauren. Send it, please send it my way. I've been thinking about, no, I'm not interested, whatever. At least I'm starting to talk to my sphere and I'm getting them back into like, hey, Lawrence is giving value to me. Let me reach out to him. Let me see what he has going on. Right.
Right.
He knows that Culver City area that I'm interested in. Let me reach out to him, see if he has any off market listings. Now, right now, what exact area are you in, Kristen?
San Luis Obispo,
Okay.
California, Central Coast.
How many people are getting a list of most likely to sell in that area?
No idea.
Exactly. So you can look at your title reps that you may have out there. Do you have a rapport with a title rep out there?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell your title rep, hey, I need a list every month of most likely to sell in the 90 whatever zip code you want, or if you want multiple zip codes, that's easy for them to run, right? Now that gives you the opportunity to just say, okay, I got the list. I can reach out to my sphere first, or I can go door knock this list,
Hmm.
right? I can send this list from postcards, ask them if they like are they looking to sell? Maybe they don't respond to that. Maybe I door knock them, or maybe I call some people that I know that are buyers in my area. Hey, have you thought about looking at this property? It's not on the market, right? Those are just different ideas that I'm going to be creating for next week's training, and that's what I'm gonna be going over on some of that stuff, and just different ideas and tricks to make sure you can pull those people from your sphere that are buyers or going to be buyers soon and sellers. This trick worked for me because I got a new listing coming up in Hawthorne. It's a $1.4 million deal that I just had reached out to him and said, hey, I got a list of off market properties in the area that I know they've been looking in, right? They
Hmm.
weren't able to afford that area at first a while back. Now they're able to afford it with the sale of this property. So now they're like, yeah, send us the list. We found a property that we kind of negotiate. Now I need to get their property listed in order for them to buy that property. So that's what I'm going to cover next week. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, that goes beyond the searching for FISBOs.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it.
and like I said, your title rep can really put you on a monthly. Hey, here's a new updated list. Here's a new updated list for if you want to add some zip codes or whatever, add them on there because you might get some
Yeah.
clients that's looking in a different area, right? You're working with some clients that's looking in different areas than you're in, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that one or two clients that need those off market deals or they don't see anything on the MLS. Maybe you reach out to them and say, hey, look, I get a list from my title rep all the time for off market, most likely to sell clients, right? I'm gonna send that to you. Look through those addresses. Take a look. Tell me if there's any ones that you like or you're maybe interested in. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, whatever. Tell me what you may like. I'm gonna reach out to those potential sellers on your behalf, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love
So
it. Yeah.
now, Kristen, you go door knock that one that your client told you your person in your sphere says they like. You go door knock them. Your client comes to see the property. They don't like the property, but guess what? Now you can talk to the potential seller. Now you may have a listing, right? Sorry,
Right.
buyer didn't like it, but I know you were willing to sell. Are you willing to sell in the next 2 to 3 months? Or is it like a more of a longer term? Oh, we're looking to sell in 2 to 3 months, or it's not a big rush, right? Great. Would you mind if I put you on my property valuation, monthly valuation
Mhm.
email? Sure, yes, definitely send me my property valuation, right? Now you're building that rapport, that new person that you weren't even gonna door knock,
Right.
right? So there's different ideas that we
I
can
have a kind of a related question then. I do have a few people who've indicated that maybe in the future they're looking to sell. and I want to stay top of mind. I don't want to, so I want to send them some, things of value in the meantime, at least on a twice monthly basis that's not pushing, but providing some kind of information, some guidance in that direction. Top top tips for that.
Yeah, so basically what I do right now is I have, and are you using iList at all? It doesn't have
Uh-huh.
to be iList.
Well, I'm enrolled, but I haven't been used very well. So yes, I'd
Okay.
love
So
tips
so
to
even if
use.
you're not using iList, so and this I don't know if you were on a call today for iList, but
Yeah.
some of the things that I do right now, let me show you. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Do you see this right here? This it's called iList automated home values without text.
Okay.
So I have another one that I've sent out that's iList automated home values, where it includes text and email, right? So
Mhm.
basically what it does is it reaches out. So as soon as you come in as a potential lead on some of my ads I'm running, right? You kick into this in 5 minutes, you're going to receive an email from me, right? That
Mhm.
email looks something like, let me see if I can go to, this is how it looks. So it's home value updates. Hi, first name, the market's changing, and so are your home values, right? This is something that you can put them on.
Okay.
This one I made where it doesn't text them to say, because normally I have one that people I don't know that just come in from ads that I say, hey, Kristen, I just sent you an email regarding your home value at 123 Main Street. And what I do is just populates this in a text message with the address. So if the lead comes in, it comes in with their address and their first and last name and their home, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just put this in here and it says, I'm contacting you regarding, and then it has lead address, whatever it is, 123 Main Street, and that populates in. That's a text that goes out to them. And then also, and so they receive that email as well, right? So
Mhm.
this goes out 30, the next 30 days, they'll get an update, 90 days, 180 days, all the way to 270. Okay.
Mhm.
That's for that particular campaign. That's what I do right now to stay top of mind. I also use an app called a HomeBot. HomeBot, HomeBot.ai. This right here. Okay. Now, normally you're supposed to team up with a lender to get this, but seeing that we're part of car, right? They give us a discount. Oh, well, they give us not a discount, but they give us up to 25 addresses we can input into HomeBot without using a lender, right? And what this does is, so if I go to like manage, let's see. Okay, right here, Sylvia Allen. Let's go to her for instance. I can see she opened this email 9 days ago,
Mhm.
right? I can see a digest was emailed to her 13 days ago. I can see when I sold the property to her for $255, 255,000, right?
Mhm.
And she's on a 30-year loan. It tells me how much her loan is. She's at a 4.1%, right? Estimated value right here. This gives this information to the lead as well, right? But this is kind of like the report she sees. And this is where you could like you be specific on the people that you want to include in this. You don't have to include everyone. You can do this route right here. I mean, that route with iList, which sends them every month, every 30 days. Or you can do this if, let's say, Kristen, you're in an area that may have Airbnb, right? Allow
Mhm.
Airbnb, right? This will break down, how much, oh, what, let me see. Come on. It'll break down how much you can get for Airbnb per night,
Mhm.
right? And what months are busiest, right? This is
Mhm.
going to your client, but it looks as if it's you sending this directly to them,
Right.
right? It says, "Hi, Sylvia," right? This is my information. So it looks as if you're giving them this data without being pushy, right? It tells me how much she's paid off, principal towards interest, all that stuff, right?
Wow.
It gives them a lot of detail. Tells them
Mhm.
it tells them the current interest rates in certain areas, right?
Mhm.
It gives them all of this stuff. So if you want to be top of mind, that's kind of some of the stuff I would do on my end is include them on that too. And I'll only do so you basically only get 25 for free till you have to start paying. but I'll only include those on people that I know for sure are going to be selling their property or thinking about selling their property
Yeah.
right.
How does it do with manufactured homes, which, you know, might
It's going
is
to I haven't had manufactured homes yet, but I'm sure it's going to pull in some more data from online on that.
hmm
I'm not sure if they're going to have like the land lease fee or any of those things like that,
yeah. I have
but
a really hard time getting accurate valuations
yeah,
for manufactured homes.
manufactured homes a little bit more difficult to do, and I know that's kind of the area you focus in a little bit on, right?
Well, I'm not trying to, but you know, I
No, no,
live
no.
here, so
But you'd
so
be
it's
surprised if you become
yeah.
a niche specialist in that area.
hmm
There's not that many people focusing on that area, right?
Right. Yeah.
Get 15 to 20 listings. That's a different. Yeah, you may not focus on it, but it may be something that you're used to. You're knowledgeable on
Yeah.
it. I don't know much
Mhm.
about manufactured home. Guess where I'm gonna come to for information on that? Exactly. So that's what I would not shy away from that stuff. If you know it and you've been selling quite a bit of those, get digging a little bit deeper. See if that's
Yeah.
part of your business plan, right?
Right.
To learn that niche. But yeah, Kristen, I appreciate you joining. Mandy, good morning. Carrie, good morning. I'm not sure if it's morning where you're at, Carrie, but good morning. But yeah, so that's what we covered pretty much today is just creating those events for your particular farm area, right? For sellers opposed to the buyers, right? Just change, do something different. Everybody's doing first time home buyers. I think me and Mandy talked a little bit before about VA home buyers, but we haven't never talked about VA sellers, right? And where the VA sellers can go and how they may be able to do the VA thing where they can transfer their current interest rate with a new home that's also VA approved, right? So those are opportunities and things to think about. And like I said, next week we'll discuss the title and title reps and building that rapport with them a little bit more. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, even the VA second home options, you know, if they have some credits left, yeah, and possible opportunity to buy investment property in addition to their personal property.
Yeah, and I think they can buy more than one, more than two properties at once, I believe. And Mandy knows a little bit more about that stuff. Like I said, I don't really specialize in that area, but you know,
I'm here. I can chime in if you want me to.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mandy.
Okay. Good morning, first of all.
Good morning.
With the VA, you have to live in it at least. Sorry, my kids. Hold on one second. Benjamin, Bella. Sorry, summer break. I love it. Um, so with the VA, you have to live in it.
Okay.
If you purchase another one, you have to live at least the first year in it, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. So we used to live in one, refinanced, we took put it into a conventional, bought now this one that we are living in currently, but we only want to live in it for 1 year, and then we refinance again and purchase the third one. That's kind of like the plan. I'm not sure if that was your question.
Yeah, so basically, do I have to live in the property for 1 year? After that 1 year, I can move out and
Yes.
buy a new property, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
most VA people probably don't know that because I didn't know that. I'm not even a VA
No.
person, right? But I'm
No.
I'm in the space of real estate, so that's something that I would, if I don't
You
know
need
it,
to refinance though. You need to refinance
right?
into a different loan again.
Okay, so you have to refi out of that VA loan into like a
VA loan.
traditional loan.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Because whenever you purchase, in order to get all the benefits as a veteran, you have to live in it first. I think it is 5 years, but out of those 5 years, you have to live in it for 2. But then Marcus just found out recently, you have to at least live in it for 1 year in the first year, I believe.
in the first year. Okay.
In the first year. That's what we're doing right now. And then after this, we're out of here too.
Okay.
Couldn't you just still keep it in VA if you've paid, say you've paid down some of your mortgage from the
No,
VA
I believe you
and
have.
then use that property, buy a new one with your whatever's left over in your VA credits, and use that first property you've already lived in for a while as an income property. Is that not possible?
Yeah, you can. So we did the first one, we turned it into an income property right now. So we're renting this one out, keeping this one. And but bought the second one with the VA loan right now.
Mhm.
And want to do it with the third one. You can get out of it, but you cannot leave the VA loan with the second one right now.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. I thought
Because
you
you
could.
have to live in it for, I think it's the first 5 year, 2 of those years you have to live in it. But there is like a thing, if you refinance, obviously, after a year, and that's what it was. After a year, you can refinance.
Got it.
I think so. Marcus is in a meeting right now.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I would have.
and Mandy, don't worry about it right now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Marcus on for one of
There we go.
these things.
Perfect.
Just to, and basically we also talked about Bandy, is events, local events in your area, and how you can include potential sellers instead of buyers, because you always see events for buyers, first-time home buyers, all these programs for first-time home buyers and seminars for them, right? What about the seminars for the first-time home seller?
Yep.
Right. And me and Kristen, we both looked in our area. Is there any first time home seller programs? I mean, seminars. There weren't. Very
No.
few. Right. So let's go after that stuff that's not, out there, and, that's in the masses, that people would just probably avoid now because they see it so much. Let's go and talk to the sellers now. Right. That's what we want anyways. Right. So those sellers are going to become buyers at one point.
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about that VA and the VA sellers that may not know about this stuff. They may not know that you can live in one property, for a year and then move out and just refi and put it and use it again. That's stuff that we can talk about on these things here, and ways for you to reach out if you're interested in reaching out to VAs. I think that's another great niche to look at, that a lot of people don't
Yep.
look at, right?
Yep. Very true.
Divorces, probate, manufactured homes, all that stuff is like niche areas, and most successful people made they were successful by building in a niche first before trying to do everything, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great topic. And after next week, I want to try to see if we can get Marcus on one of these trainings for our mastermind, and we can basically throw things around like this, like we're doing. So thanks a lot for joining. I'll talk to you guys soon. It's Lawrence King with Alliance Group, Coach's Sphere of Influence. I'm here every Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.